Nothing to see here, just move along. No big deal. Kentucky aluminum plant is idling. Going to lay off 600 workers. What's the big deal, Josh? A large aluminum plant in Kentucky is temporarily halting production and laying off basically its whole staff due to rising energy costs. Interesting. It's going to shut down for at least 9 to 12 months starting in August. No big deal, right? It's only 600 people. What's the big deal? The plant along the Ohio River, oh, right here, Central Aluminum said its Hawesville plant is the largest U.S. smelter and largest producer of high purity primary aluminum in North America. Primary. We're going to talk about the difference between primary and secondary. The plant along the Ohio River had recently increased production in April and it even had an additional 60 jobs. We celebrated that, says the president of the United Steelworkers Local. I guess if it hadn't been for the cost of power, we'd still be rocking and rolling. Yeah, no big deal. Let's check a look, though. According to Statista.com, the U.S. consumes 2.8 million metric tons of aluminum each year. In 2020, that is. Transportation applications account for 41% of domestic consumption, with the remainder being mostly used for packaging, building, and electrical purposes. Composites can be substituted for aluminum in various different applications. No big deal. What's the big deal? So that's how much the U.S. Consumes. How much does it produce? You want to take a wild guess here? It's going to be, hold on a second. Produce. It's not that right there. It's actually way down. Oh, I'll just pause it real quick. So here, look, 1.7 million metric tons. That was in 2014. You want to know what it is now? Top 10 aluminum producing countries in 2022. Aluminum is one of the Earth's most important industrial metals, used in a wide range of applications and is considered a critical metal to economies around the world. It's one of the most in-demand industrial metals because it's versatile. Its silvery metal is non-toxic and lightweight, perfect for making food and beverage cans, but also has high thermal conductivity, corrosion resistant, and can be easily cast, machined, and formed. The second most malleable metal and the sixth most ductile. It's non-magnetic and non-sparking. No big deal. That's just aluminum. China is the number one producer of aluminum in the world with 39 million metric tons. The world produces 68 million metric tons, with China number one. Nothing comes close. India and Russia, number 2 and 3, respectively. China, India, Russia. Does that mean anything to anybody? BRIC, BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. The same groups we are antagonizing with our NATO expansion. China, India, and Russia. Canada comes in at fourth at 3.1. You think Canada's can be exempt from the high cost of energy? UAE, Australia, clown show, Bahrain, Norway, the US with all of 880,000 metric tons in 2022, in 2021. 880,000 metric tons. We're shutting down a plant because of high energy, the largest aluminum producer in the US, right here. Is the largest U.S. smelter and largest producer of primary aluminum. Now, this isn't the end of the story. I want to say real quick. I want to show you. We don't import 90% of our aluminum, but as of 2017, we did import 54%. And again, I guarantee it's probably 75% now just because we don't produce enough. But anyway, so there's two sources of aluminum. In 2016, the U.S. imported 5 times as much primary aluminum as a tonnage as it produced. Okay, but primary and secondary, all right. This figure does not capture the entire U.S. aluminum market. It only reflects the production of primary aluminum or aluminum that has been smelted from raw ore. Most unfinished aluminum that the U.S. produces, on the other hand, is recycled and remolten scrap or secondary aluminum. The Commerce Department reports makes clear that it's excluding this key component of the aluminum industry. So there is a secondary recycled aluminum. Doesn't take energy to recycle it. Not at all. Let's see. The U.S. is the world's leading producer of secondary aluminum. While aluminum produced through secondary production is an important feedstock for the U.S. industry, it is fundamentally a different industry. Yeah. So the interesting thing is when you're recycling it, inherently you have less viability because the more you recycle it, the less it can continue to be used. So look, recycling is great. It's not going to get the job done, man. the energy costs. Let's just keep looking. French and German leaders are warning their populations to prepare for a total cutoff of Russian gas as social unrest looms. Of course, that's no big deal. We're going to talk about the 47,000 genders that we have. No big deal. We're going to talk about the wokeness and CRT. Well, people are starving to death. That's what matters most. You can't heat your home. Who cares, you white supremacists with your white privilege? You Europeans. European populations are bracing for a frigid upcoming winter amid an impending avalanche of high energy costs and emerging inflation. On Sunday, the French economy and finance minister Bruno Le Maire, or whatever, warned that Russia is poised to totally halt gas supplies to Europe and that people must now prepare. Let's prepare for a total cutoff of Russian gas. Today that is the most likely option. He later additionally explained to reporters, you also have to prepare load shedding plans. We are doing it. It means we have looking in a very specific way at each company, each employment area, which are the companies that should reduce their energy consumptions and which are the companies that cannot. This is freaking insanity. He said the government is currently compiling a list of these major companies which would be at risk if their facilities were suddenly deprived of gas supply. He mentioned Saint-Gobain, a major construction materials producer, an example of companies that should not be deprived of gas supply, even in case of an emergency. He pointed to possible damage to production equipment and the risk of environmental consequences. The greens, dude. Germany, too, is fearing the worst. Nord Stream 1 has been long scheduled to go down for a 10-day maintenance starting Monday, but the persisting fears that Moscow won't bring it back online. And, I mean, you antagonize the people who hold the freaking... who hold the firearms. What do you expect? It's crazy. The purpose of squeezing the German economy further as punishment for his Ukraine stance. I literally don't understand why you don't expect if you're going to antagonize the bear is going to fight back. Germany's population of 80 million is relying on Russia because they don't want to have nuclear power plants in this country because it's so dangerous. And coal and natural gas is going to kill us with CO2. I'd rather die from CO2, a fertilizer for plants that we need to grow food, than freeze to death. The prominent English language Deutsche Welle surveys the alarming situation of many German households as already as rationing of hot water and electricity are taking effect. Many renters in Germany are receiving unpleasant letters these days. As energy prices rise dramatically, landlords and property management companies are increasing the monthly rate for heating costs. One housing company in Berlin is announcing a 100% increase in heating prices for apartments heated with gas or oil. Whether this will be enough is not clear. Oh yeah, but no, we'll just use electricity, we just use heat pumps. No big deal because, the magic electricity is generated from wind and solar. DW concludes the potential of a domino effect from a Russia supply cut that the entire economy could be affected. If Russian gas supplies were to fail, Germany's economic output could drop by 12%. Just how bad things could get will be revealed starting July 22nd, which marks the pre-scheduled date that theoretically marks the end of the maintenance plan. Deutsche Bank strategist Jibri previously asked whether this could be the most important day of the year. And I want to show you something else here too. I just let's see if I can't find it. Oh boy, explosion rocks Oklahoma natural gas plant. There's another thing in here that I want to see if I can't find it. But no worry, Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal are on the case. They're meeting with Ukraine to discuss designating Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism. This boggles the mind. This guy lied about Vietnam. This guy was a JAG officer. Obviously, they got something on Lindsey Graham. I think it's a Jeffrey Epstein Island. If you know what I'm saying, for a certain group of people who have a specific preference. That's what I think. I don't know. Look, that's completely my speculation. I don't know, but there's something weird with this guy and his need to have war against Russia. It's just odd. It's not good. It's scary. Hold on a second. Article I couldn't find, but anyways, along the same lines that Germany is in a world of hurt, Europe is in a world of hurt, the UK, but it's affecting us too. We're closing down our aluminum smelter plants. We're laying off people. because of energy prices, and it's not changing anytime soon. At the same time, Sniffy Joe is selling oil from the strategic reserve to China with a firm that Hunter Biden is affiliated with. Dude, you got to be prepared for some serious shocks on the short term. Serious short term shocks. What looks good for serious short term shocks? Government bonds, as I've been saying for about going on 8 months now. All right, love your thoughts. Hang tight. We'll see you.